Before Kenya had borders, the Kipsigis walked through time, trading with enemies, marrying rivals, and disappearing into forests where nations didn't exist. But what happened to their secret homeland called Tu? And why did the British take half their land? This is the untold story of a people who blurred the lines between tribes, transformed enemies into family, and survived a colonial storm that tried to erase them. Somewhere in the mists of pre-colonial memory, the Kipsigis speak of a place called Tu, an ancestral cradle shrouded in mystery and story. Said to lie near the glimmering waters of Lake Baringo, Tu was more than a location. It was a beginning, a homeland, a whispered echo of a time before nations had names. From this enigmatic place, the Kipsigis and their kin, the Nandi, journeyed southward through the highlands of what is now Kenya. Their paths diverged between the 1600s and 1800s, a quiet split in the landscape of time. The Nandi settled to the north, where their rhythms of life remained tightly woven with those of the Kipsigis. But the Kipsigis kept moving, pushing further south, brushing against history with every step. They came upon the Luo, the Kisi, and the Maasai, each people with their own song, their own memory of the land. To the Kipsigis, they were once known as Puniik, strangers, perhaps enemies. Yet in this region, hostility was rarely absolute. Borders bled, cultures mingled. Even in times of cattle raids and land disputes, especially with the proud Maasai, life found its way to intertwine. Children were adopted across enemy lines. Marriages sealed unlikely unions. Famine drove cooperation, grain for cattle, survival for all. And there were others. The Okiek, elusive forest dwellers to the west, spoke the same Kalenjin tongue. They shared more than language. They shared bloodlines, initiation rites, and kinship beyond politics. In secret groves and shadowed hills, Okiek hunters and Kipsigis farmers exchanged forest honey for grains of life. It was a world of movement, of exchange, of identities worn like cloaks, changeable and layered. Ethnic lines we now draw so boldly were once drawn in sand. Then came the British. Their arrival at the turn of the 20th century was a storm that redrew the map, not in sand but in ink and iron. White settlers seized nearly half the Kipsigis lands. The colonial economy offered shiny coins and hollow promises. And the Kipsigis, herders, warriors, and farmers, were pulled into a market machine that spoke no Kalenjin. Yet even in this storm, the dance of peoples continued. In the waning light of the 20th century, new migrations began. Luo workers from the western plains, their ancestral lands battered by economic winds, arrived in Kericho, the green heart of Kipsigis tea country. They came to till soil that was once taken, to work for families rooted in a land that remembers too. They came as strangers, but many stayed long enough to become something else. Helpers, neighbors, perhaps even kin. The story of the Kipsigis is not one of walls, but of windows, of borrowed languages, of shared sorrows, of borders that breathe. In a world eager to divide, their past reminds us. Identity is not always inherited. Sometimes it is chosen. And somewhere near the silent shores of Lake Baringo, Tu still lingers, not as a place on the map, but as a legend in the blood.